In our last video, we ensured that our application was working so far and that we were writing values to the user preferences file. In this video, we are going to add to our application the ability to read user preferences upon launch and ready itself for use. We will also want to update preferences when the application quits. For this task, we will need a connection from the app delegate to the main controller. The app delegate is the one who is notified when the application is sent the terminate message and gives us the opportunity we need to perform some cleanup. So our first task is to read preferences upon application launch. The most appropriate place for this is in the await from nib method. Now we haven't created that method yet, so we need to do that now. I'm going to put it as the first instance method. So the first thing we'll do is say self read preferences, and that will read from the preferences file and set the instance variables. After that, we'll go ahead and do the isUserAuthenticated method. So first we need a string, result. We're talking to tmtwit, and we say isUserAuthenticated. So we've done this before, and then we'll say self verify Twitter result, and we'll give it the result. In the string, this will be login. So here's just one more example of the benefit of compartmentalizing our methods. Since we only have them do one specific task, it makes our job easier when we need to use that functionality elsewhere in our code. Now just a note on await from nib. The way the await from nib method works, when an application is first launched, each of the elements created in Interface Builder are brought to life. Once it has been fully instantiated with all of its outlets and actions, each individual object is sent the await from nib message. That is why this is a good place to set up user default information. You can also use this method in any and all class files as needed. We've only made a minor change, but we should go ahead and build and run just to make sure everything is still working. So I'll use Command R. And now when the application opens, the title bar is updated showing that I am already authenticated. It says login was successful and we're ready to go. So our await from nib method is working just as we expect. Now it's time to have the app delegate class update the user preferences when the application quits. The app delegate will need to use the update preferences method, and currently we have this method in a private category. Let's go ahead and move that to the interface file. We'll find our update preferences declaration in our private category, and I'm just going to cut it here, Command X. I'm going to go to the implementation file and paste it in. And then I'll save that. And now we can head over to our app delegate interface file. Here we're going to need to add a class forward declaration. So I'll say add class. This is going to be TM main controller. In the add class forward declaration, it tells the compiler that even though we haven't imported the TM main controller.h file right here, we will before we start using its methods. And we'll import that in the implementation file. Now we need to create an outlet. And the outlet is going to be a TM main controller. And we'll call it main controller. That's all we need in our interface file. So we'll go over to the implementation file. And here we'll import the header file. And now we'll add the application will terminate method. And here we only have one line of code we need to use. It's going to be main controller update preferences. Now our application will update preferences just before it quits. And the last thing we need to do is go over to Interface Builder and add a connection from main controller to the app delegate. We will finish this lesson in the next video.